No.
Reed's Original, all natural craft ginger beer.
Yeah.
You can have this too.
Oh, we're on?
Yes, we are.
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm
you
not
can
going to agree
sue
to that,
drug
Senator.
companies.
Hey, Jordan, what's in your sights for today?
I'd like to talk about Elizabeth Warren questioning Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Okay, is there any reason why you want to discuss that? I mean, what's the purpose? I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I've refrained from the hearing. Is it really bad? Or is it concerning, I should say?
It's extraordinarily concerning.
Does she show her true colors?
Yes, you know who Elizabeth Warren is working for after this. And I wish RFK Jr. was a little bit more aggressive. Let's roll the clip and let's show everybody. I wish he was a little less polite. He was too polite to her.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Kennedy, I want to start with something that I think you and I agree on, and that is that Big Pharma has too much power in Washington.
Damn!
You've said that President Trump asked you to, quote, clean up corruption and conflicts. Sounds great. You've said that you will, quote, slam shut the revolving door between government agencies and the companies they regulate. That also sounds great.
Oh, what would you know about the truth?
The revolving door is, right now, you are allowed to work in a regulatory agency like the Food and Drug Administration, like the CDC, like the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. And when you're done working for the government regulating industries and corporations, you are allowed to get a job with the very people you have been regulating.
So here's an easy question. Will you commit that when you leave this job, you will not accept compensation from a drug company, a medical device company, a hospital system, or a health insurer for at least 4 years, including as a lobbyist or a board member?
And I thought I ladled the gravy on thick.
Oh,
Now,
boy.
this is called the setup.
Yeah, it
This
is setup
the
because
setup.
she is doing exactly what
Right.
she just said.
She knows he's going to say, of course not. She knows that. It's the setup. Now watch how perplexed he is. Even though he's a lawyer, I'm surprised he's perplexed, but he's perplexed. Watch this.
Can you just repeat the last part of the question? Can I commit
You're
to
not going
what?
to take money from drug companies in any way, shape, or form.
Who? Me?
Yes, you.
Oh,
It's-
yeah, I'm
you're the
happy
one-
to commit to that.
Okay, good. That's what I figured. I said it's an easy question to start with. And I think you're right on this
I don't
question.
think any of them want to give me money, by the way.
Let's keep going. You're right because to say yes, because every American has the right to know that every decision you make as our number one health officer is to help them and not to make money for yourself in the future. So I want to talk more about money. I'm looking at your paperwork right now. In the past 2 years, you've raked in $2.5 million from a law firm called Wisner Baum. You go online, you do commercials to encourage people to sign up with Wisner Baum to join lawsuits against vaccine makers. And for everyone who signs up, you personally get paid. And if they win their case, you get 10% of what they win.
Now, I thought personal injury attorneys got a third, not 10%.
No,
I thought
well,
they got
no.
33%.
That is correct. They get a third, but he got 10% of the third.
Yeah, that seems like less than he should get.
Right. Well, he's getting 10% of the third.
If he wins a personal injury case for someone that's been injured by a vaccine, don't you think he deserves something?
Absolutely. Well, but the thing is, I don't think she's denying that that's a problem. He's giving that attorney business. Naturally, thank you, his payment.
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing work. You get paid for doing work.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing.
So I'm confused on why she's setting him up.
Okay, watch.
So if you bring in somebody who gets $10 million, you walk away with $1 million. Now, you just said that you want the American people to know you can't be bought, your decisions won't depend on how much money you could make in the future, you won't go to work for a drug company after you leave HHS, but you and I both know there's another way to make money. So, Mr. Kennedy, will you also agree that you won't take any compensation from any lawsuits against drug companies while you are secretary and for 4 years afterwards?
Wow.
This is what
That's-
I would have said.
holy
this
shit.
is what I would have said to her. I would have said, I mean, I probably would have called her Pocahontas at this point, right? But I would have said to her, I would have said, Elizabeth, you're asking me not to be me.
Holy crap! I
My
can't believe.
whole raison d'etre.
So his whole job that he's doing, she's telling him not to do anymore.
She's asking him not to be him. I would say,
Wow.
suing drug companies, I would say, Elizabeth, you're asking me not to be what I am. I am RFK Jr. What do I do? This is what I do. This is what I stand for.
Yeah,
you can take that question and shove it right up
Your ass. I would never have said yes if he said yes. I hope he says no.
Do you know how angry I got for him when I heard this question come out of Elizabeth Warren? I was livid on his behalf.
She's got some fucking balls, man. She really does.
She's asking RFK Jr. not to be RFK Jr. We love RFK Jr. because he is RFK Jr. Because he will go out and he will fight for people who've been injured by the big pharmaceutical companies and the big agriculture companies.
Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
All right, listen carefully.
Well, I'll certainly commit to that while I'm secretary. But I do want to clarify something because you're making me sound like a shill. I put
You're the
together
one
that
who got-
case. I did the Science Day presentation to the judge on that case to get it into court, the Daubert hearing.
Mr. Kennedy, it's just a really simple question.
Yeah,
You've taken in $2.5 million. I want to know if you will commit right now that not only will you not go to work for drug companies, you won't go to work suing the drug companies and taking your rake out of that while you're a secretary and for 4 years after.
What? She's got no right to say that.
If I was RFK Jr., I would have said, I will never stop suing the drug companies. It's people like me that keeps them at least somewhat in check. She was asking him not to be him. I feel like he should have given her the finger and said, kiss my
Ass.
ass.
It's just,
I'll commit to not taking any fees from drug companies while I'm secretary.
No. I'm asking about fees from suing drug companies. Will you agree not to do that?
You're asking me to not sue drug companies,
No,
and I'm
you
not
can
going to agree to
sue
that,
drug
Senator.
companies as much as you want.
I'm not going to agree to not sue drug companies or anybody.
So let's do a quick count here of how, as Secretary of HHS, if you get confirmed, you could influence every one of those lawsuits. Well, let me start the list. You could publish your anti-vaccine conspiracies, but this time on U.S. government letterhead, something a jury might be impressed by. You could appoint
I
people
don't
to the
understand that.
CDC vaccine panel who share your anti-vax views and let them do your dirty work. You could tell the CDC vaccine panel to remove a particular vaccine from the vaccine schedule. You could remove vaccines from special compensation programs, which would open up manufacturers to mass torts. You could make more injuries eligible for compensation even if there is no causal evidence. You could change vaccine court processes to make it easier to bring junk lawsuits. You could turn over FDA data to your friends at the law firm, and they could use it however it benefited them. You could change vaccine labeling. You could change vaccine information rules. You could change which claims are compensated in the vaccine injury compensation program. There's a lot of ways that you can influence those future lawsuits and pending lawsuits while you are Secretary of HHS, and I'm asking you to commit right now that you will not take a financial stake in every one of those lawsuits so that what you do as secretary will also benefit you financially down the line?
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You have said
You're asking me,
repeatedly,
Senator,
those
you're
efforts-
asking me not to sue
Fireman's Marshal.
pharmaceutical
I am
companies.
not.
Calm down, everybody.
My
Yeah, you
question
are.
is stop
That's exactly what
enriching
you're doing.
health. Look, no one should be fooled here.
I
As
fought
Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule. I will do that. The only thing I want is good science, and that's it.
How about then say you won't make money off what you do as Secretary of HHS?
Before we go to Senator Tillis, I think it would be important for me to make it very clear that Mr. Kennedy has gone through the same Office of Government Ethics process as every single other nominee in the Finance Committee this year and in previous administrations. In addition to listing his assets, including the items that you've identified, he has signed an ethics letter that has been reviewed by the Office of Government Ethics concerning any possible conflict in light of its functions and the nominee's proposed duties. And we have a letter from the Office of Government Ethics that he hasn't complied completely with all applicable laws and regulations governing conflicts of interest.
Mr. Chairman, point of information here. Have we had a single nominee come through who's made $2.5 million off suing one of the entities that it would be regulating and plans to keep getting a take of every lawsuit in the future? Have we had that before?
I haven't reviewed the past documentation of every other nominee's financial interests, and so no. But I know that every single time we get a nominee, their financial interests are attacked. That's why we have the Office of Government Ethics. That's why they've reviewed everything that's in his record, and that's why he has even, I think, and I don't know that I want to ask him to get into it, but he has listed his assets and has gone through a discussion of his.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
So, should we summarize?
Yes.
You want to start?
Yes. So Warren is a POS. She is in it for the money, and she doesn't want her money to stop.
You think?
Simple. That's a great way of looking at it, because she is scared that RFK will succeed, because he already got the FDA to remove red number 4.
3, I think.
Oh, 3? Yeah, red number 3. But you know what? It's not going to happen for another 3 years.
I know, 27, right?
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
So everything's going to still be made with it until 3 years. So they can't figure out how to cut it off now. So he's succeeding, but only one chemical, which doesn't make any sense.
Why does it take so long?
I don't know. I'm a little confused on that. I think it's. I guess they have to retrofit everything and figure out how to make red number 3 again in another way.
But aren't the companies that use these dyes already making European products without them?
Yeah, that's true. So they can always just copy that. But I think Warren is a piece of crap. Kennedy is rocking. He's doing what what he asked he wanted to do, and Trump wants him on board. Simple. And now that RFK is being transparent of making America healthy again, it's scaring
the establishment.
It's scaring the establishment, saying, "Oh my God, we're having this hearing now." She just made it worse by stepping in front of the train, and she just made it more apparent who she really
Works for.
who she really
Yeah.
works for. Yep.
And I liked her before. That's the real sad thing is I watched her with the banking stuff and I felt she made such good points with the banking stuff. And now I realize she's part of the swamp.
Unbelievable.
And I
can't
liked her.
believe it. I don't know how you liked her. She was always a Pocahontas from the beginning. I've never seen anything positive come out of her mouth.
Well, she's extraordinarily knowledgeable about banking.
Yeah, but the thing is that she's knowledgeable about banking because she's getting $1.2 million. So, of course, she's going to be knowledgeable. She knows how to invest the money. So she's probably getting her salary, which is whatever her salary is, plus $1.7 million. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
But she has to live in the swamp. I wonder what
Yeah,
it's
but it
like.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's no repercussion of anything of any of what these House of Representatives or senators. Nothing ever happens. I mean, the only person that I see that gets impeached is the president of the United States, and he has nothing to do with any of this, which is total crap, Mr. Crapo.
Well, he was
Yeah, he was
he
helpful.
was standing.
Yes.
Yeah, he was explaining to Senator Warren
Right.
how RFK Jr. did comply with all the disclosures that were necessary. But the thing is, RFK Jr. is going to have difficulty, as anyone who is anti-establishment and anti-status quo and doesn't live in the swamp is going to have to deal with.
Something's going to happen to him, which I don't want to happen.
Well, I have a feeling he's just like President Trump. I'm sure they know how to handle themselves.
Right. That's true. I'm sure he has an entourage of people.
I hope so.
Like Trump.
I hope so. I hope they're both.
I'm sure they all are.
Yeah.
Everybody has some sort of Secret Service.
I hope so.
Guiding them and guarding them and whatever. But this is a disaster.
I said a prayer for Donald Trump's well-being, safety.
Yeah.
I actually prayed for him because I was afraid that he was
Right.
And
So that said, what's your thought process on it?
my thought process is that RFK Jr. has the ability to increase the health of the American population, but increasing the health of the American population could decrease the money in the pockets of the professional associations like the American Medical Association and the American Heart Association and those things. And, the doctors don't always, in other words, there's a whole medical establishment that will lose money if America gets healthy again. Do you understand what I'm putting out here?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. That if nobody's sick, the money stops.
If America gets healthy again, there might be fewer surgeries.
Right.
If the gender ideology is dealt with and fewer men get their
Bottom surgery
right and fewer girls get their breasts removed and their ovaries and
right. So there's less money movement.
yeah, like a few of those gender reassignment surgeries can pay for the college education of the doctors.
Right.
Right, their children, the doctors' children,
Right.
their education. So there's going to be a change of money. If we make America healthy again, the American Medical Association. Now,
Well, there's a lot of things that would suffer, no doubt. But I don't want to get into each one of these because now we have to redo it again.
can we do one more, two guys talking, a really quick one? I have
Yeah,
a
sure.
really quick one that we can do.
Sure.